Annuities and commodities. Those are the we tune in to Money Talk. You can expect to hear about it all. Business tips, franchise opportunities, grants, consumer loans,
Good morning, everybody.
banking, finances, and financial freedom.
Roll right now.
Always have a pen and pad ready because she's going to assist you in taking your life to the next level.
Tia Harris. Brian G on the radio.
This is your
Catch us on
moment,
Facebook
your
Live with Tia
moment to
Harris.
experience financial information at its best.
CIDRSO.
How much money we earn. It's about how much money we spend.
Consumer loans, do it yourself, credit repair.
I don't know why every time you say Ronnie G, I just hear a saxophone in my head.
Yeah.
I ain't no Kenny G, I can tell you that. I am no Kenny.
Now it's time for Money Talk.
Thank you for tuning in to Money Talk for the best common sense financial information in the nation. It's a pleasure to have you guys listening and watching us here today. I'm your host, Tia Harris. What's up, Ronald? He's back, Ronald.
I see the man is there. I see him. You the man.
Yep. Happy
All right,
anniversary.
brother.
I believe that's what was going on, right?
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to you, and happy birthday to Mondez, who's in the studio with us as well. Yes, and we have Ronnie Giverson co-hosting and an expert in here with us today. And we have a very exciting show, right? But we always want you to have your pen and pad ready to write down notes and also to touch base with people that come on the program and patronize their businesses. So today we have, you have a comment, Ronnie?
Go ahead, I apologize.
Okay. Today we have Natasha Oates, therapist.
Yes,
with
yes.
us,
Good
right?
to be here.
Yes, and we have a relationship dialogue that we will pop off with. That's always something that's interesting to the public because people have relationship issues all the time. They just seem to be hard. I don't know if it's an American thing or what we got going on in society. And you know, you can just hop online and have somebody new in a second. So that's true. It's a lot going on here, right? And so
all they do is try to catfish me. I don't know about it.
Oh no.
Oh no. And then after we talk to our great therapist here, we will have Sharia. We're going into a health topic, right, on health issues in the community, how exercise and dieting assist you in curving off things coming on as far as illnesses and also overcoming illnesses. And we're going to add this piece because this is Money Talk, right?
Right.
Do you make more money if you're more attractive? They've done statistics on that, right? So we're gonna add that piece with you.
That explains a lot. Man. I'm telling you. Not all money is good.
That's true too.
Money? No, all right, now Ronnie, you look good. You got all the money, don't you? All right, so great to have you here for the first time. I'm sure it will be many more times that you come on the program.
Yes.
And so why don't you introduce yourself to everyone, tell them your background. We like to establish, you know, our guests and ourselves so that people know we do have some authority to speak in certain areas.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. First of all, I am a Charlotte native. We exist. We're out here. My name is Natasha Oates. I'm a licensed therapist, also a consultant. So I really help people who are the glue for everyone. They're the glue for their families, and even in the office, it's like, do I even have a space for myself? I also help them get their relationship together. So I just love the work that I do, and I'm so happy to be here.
All right, awesome. So we will give you the opportunity to give your information out several times for people to connect with you because we want to see relationships stay together. We want to see families stay together.
Yes.
So we appreciate the service that you're providing to the community. So let's get into our topic, the boss, the high corporate person, the individual that's in position and in charge of others.
Yes.
And what happens when they come home.
Yes. Too often, the person in charge can't separate work from home. And so we have to figure out how do we do that. And the first way is really a question I have for everyone here. As the boss that you are you constantly on E? Are you running on fumes nonstop? Because if you are, you're probably frustrated, irritated, low energy. Do you even have anything in a tank for when you get home?
You know, that's a great question because I've lived in a high stress job for all my life, and it is hard when you get home to try and turn it off and let be a part of the family settle into that, because it just kind of goes with you, because in my world there's always a lot of money on the line.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I do understand very well.
I have a question. So should you have like a wind down period before you go home?
Yeah, some people call that happy hour, Tia. But I'm not sure that that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. Now, I will tell you, I've spent most of my life going to the gym, and that has helped me a lot. It's been part of my life going to the gym right after work. But it is hard.
Yeah, but you just hit the nail on the head. What do we do to decompress? Like you said, we need that wind down. You go to the gym. We all need something. Or we're taking out, sometimes we can take our frustration home and take it out on our family, take it out on our spouse.
One of the things I've actually done is actually you sit in the car for 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you even go into the house. You just have to let it go. And, like Ronnie said, working out is a great stress reliever. But just doing absolutely nothing, scrolling through Facebook, through mindless activities, playing some stupid game that's trying to take your money, whatever you can do for 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes it lasts longer, but you do have to decompress and let it flow throughout the day.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you for asking that question. I don't think I've been winding down. I think I've been kind of like short fused a little bit, so I will definitely try that. Like once I get home, like just leave me alone, let me do what I have to do type attitude.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. So a lot of these individuals come home and they're in control of their business, they're in control in the workplace. Now they want to be in control of their mate. Explain this, please.
Ooh. So it sounds like you're talking about a power dynamic where they have to be the boss at every sector of their lives. Where do you have a place to just be a human?
I see a lot of interesting things being a realtor, especially when I'm working with couples. And I'm gonna say something bad here today. Lord, please help me, audience. I see a lot of women trying to control the man.
Okay.
This is what I see.
Yeah.
Now my client is mainly African American. Don't step on my foot, people. But it's a new day and age. The woman is out the house. She's working, right? She's making just as much money. She's no longer in the house watching the kids. Like, how do you see this translate in your office in modern day?
Yeah. The first thing came to my mind is about control and what's underneath that. I'm a therapist, so what's underneath that is usually I'm trying to figure out a way to feel safe. And I only feel safe when I make the decisions. Some of this stuff is stuff we need to work on within ourselves. How can you feel safe without having to be in control of everything?
And I want you to second that, Ronnie, because you deal with these clients too, right? We talk about this off record. Have you seen this?
Oh, of course. I mean, let me tell you something. One of the things is we've lost the dynamic of keeping everything inside and showing respect to ourselves outside. There's an entirely different dynamic to that. Men are pretty simple creatures, to be honest with you. You need to respect us. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to lord over you, but we want to be respected. And it doesn't take a lot, but that's one of the things when you show disrespect to any spouse, both sides, in public, that is not a good thing for any relationship. So but you do see that dynamic, and you do see that dynamic with women a lot now. And I just think we've lost our roles in life. And I don't know about anybody else.
So what should the role be? Because the woman is out she's not in the house with the kids anymore. She's out making money too. What should the role be?
That's a great question. And that's something that we struggle with today. Are we in a traditional mindset? Well, it's 2025. It's nuanced. Can the roles reverse? Or is it shared? Like, we're constantly struggling. Do we want to be more traditional? Do we want to be more modern? Do we want to be in between? That's a huge question that we all have to answer.
Well, I will tell you, women still want to feel safety with the men that are around them. That's what our role is to keep them safe. But I think that the lines have gotten blurred with that. But I still see this, women still looking for someone that will make them feel safe when they're at home. A lot of single women are they're by themselves and they don't feel safe. And so, you know, and I know this from personal experience with my son, because there's always some girl wanting him to move in with him, and I'm like, no, don't do that. But I know that's the driver, because my son's like James, okay? He's a power lifter, squats 600 pounds. You know, they see safety in that.
Yeah.
You know? And
Let me add a little nuance, and y'all don't come after me for this.
Okay.
But what if so many of our households have had to be led by women, and that is our example, and we don't know any other way,
No, you're
and we
absolutely
haven't
correct.
seen a man do what the man is supposed to do, and here we are as grown-ups still being in a single mother mindset, even though that's not where we are.
come after you, you hit it right on the head. There's nothing to come after you about. You have,
She's being the mother and the father.
you know what, you have, you know, when you have 60-70% of households being led by women, I know where you're coming from with this, and that's the only thing they've ever seen. That's a whole other, you could do a 10-hour show on that.
Sure.
I mean, you know, we need to reconnect with that dynamic as to bringing, men need to step up and be men.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean you be, you know, people construe the Bible as women should submit to a man, but you forget the part where it says men should love their wives like Jesus loves his church. There's a whole different dynamic in that, you know. You know, because if you love your wife like Jesus loves the church, you're not going to be dominant. You're just doing your job, you know. And I think we've gotten away from that, and people misconstrue what that means. I mean, it really, I hate to get biblical. No, I don't hate to get biblical. I am going to get biblical on that, because it's the truth. You know, it doesn't mean you're dominant or you have to, you know, subservient, but you have each person has a role. And you're right, these people have never seen a man in the house, so how are they supposed to behave?
Yeah. And then let's add the other element, the enabler in the relationship that allows.
Yes, I understand.
I've got a comment to go along with that. So someone posted on Facebook that now men want submissive providers. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Can they elaborate on that?
They want to be submissive and provide.
It's a different
I saw-
generation.
I am curious for the men that feel that way, where they raised in single mother households where they saw the woman do everything.
Well,
I'm really curious.
So what's the proper
About that.
balance? You've been married for years. Ronnie's been married for years. Both of y'all successfully, because you're still married regardless of, you know, sometimes you get along, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
What is the proper balance in this day and age?
That's a great question. And everyone has a different definition. You know, I find that for my husband and myself, we sharpen each other. We can be kind of different in some ways, where in the beginning I was much more softer, just easygoing, kind of going with the flow, and I've learned to use my voice more, and he's learned to kind of be a little more at ease and not just always structured. So we should be learning from one another and allowing room for both of us. Like, why do we have to have this domination, you know, scenario going on?
I know what you're talking about, but you know, one of the things that, you know, women can actually bring men peace, and when they do that, it really makes a huge difference, because believe it or not, you guys are supposed to soothe us from that other side that we have. When we come home, we want to feel that peace, and sometimes we are not getting that. I find in my relationship, and I've unfortunately been married twice, but you know, both of my wives have come to the conclusion that they want to make their own money, but they still want me to pay for everything. That's an extremely interesting dynamic. You know,
That's traditional, yeah.
You know, and I go,
That's that old school.
you know, wait a minute. You want this, but you also want that, and I don't think you should have it both ways sometimes.
I know women that still think like that, but they are older women. You know, they believe, because it was the phase, the crossover, you know what I'm saying, from, you know, the woman starting to make a lot of money, and I feel like, okay, but you're a provider, you're supposed to keep it. And I do see this on Facebook. One of my friends been sending me videos, shout out to D in DC, of women that's what they're looking for. You know, a man that is just going to provide. What's your comments on that? I like to hear both.
Let me just share a few things.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact statistic, but particularly for Black women, we are so much more educated than the remainder of all the population, right? With higher degrees. And so off gate, we're going to probably make more than the men. So that's another factor. There was the comment that you said too about peace. And I like that we can add peace to our home and for our mate, but let's be very clear. We are responsible for our own peace.
Yes.
I'm going to add to what you got going on, but we are responsible for our own peace.
So, Ronnie, how did you handle that, though? Do you say, hey, this bill's yours, that bill's yours, or you just go with this flow?
I haven't seen anybody but me make a house payment in years. So in 26 years of living in my house, I haven't seen anybody else make one. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't mind it. I think it's part of what I'm supposed to do. I've tried to be a good role model for my son and for my daughter to understand these roles, you know. I think it's a very positive thing for men to be in the house with their kids. The more we've gotten away from it, more we've seen society kind of deconstruct as a result of it. I think things are different now, and I appreciate anybody who wants to make, you know, women who want to have a career or any of those things. But we still need to remember who we are and what our roles really are. And so, from my standpoint, that's my world. You know, you got to remember, I'm an older person, and I still believe in those kind of things. So. But no, there's no division of anything as far as I can tell at my house.
I think that's a very interesting point about roles and what is traditional. And to be honest, in a lot of our communities, we have done things out of survival, not necessarily out of what we would prefer to do. And here we are. So what now?
Well, I think when we do. You need to figure out what those roles are and how we can, you know, complement one another as opposed to opposing one another. It's not a power struggle, you know.
It shouldn't be.
But it is. It is at times. But anyway, I see Mondez got something to say here.
Yeah, I was actually raised in a single parent household, so I understand like the dynamic of a woman trying to provide everything. And I've seen that in my relationships in other places. So I want to actually say that I feel that it comes down to trust. Can I trust you to take care of me? Yes or no? And at the end of the day, you know, we all have to take care of ourselves, and we don't ever want to admit that, but I deal with a lot with older clients and widowers, and you see the widowed spouse never took care of themselves because they depended upon somebody else. So it becomes an issue that they don't even know how to take care of themselves because they was dependent upon somebody else.
How do I pay this bill?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I came out of a single family household, and I took a different plot in life when I got away from it, is that I'm not going to let myself be that way. Okay? I had children late in life, but I made a vow that you'll never be without me.
Yeah.
You know,
I wanted to piggyback something that Mondez that you said about it's about trust from the single parent perspective. How do I now trust someone to be there? It's scary. Even if you get with a good person who you can trust, it's scary. It's a risk. So some of the work that I'm seeing and that I help people with is taking that risk within reason, but being willing to take that risk, because if you were still in an unhealthy environment or without that support, you would put yourself in danger by trying to trust.
I appreciate what you're saying. I feel like we've all been in therapy this morning.
Welcome.
I'm gonna add
the
to Ronnie's
truth.
therapy in just a minute. Ronnie, you better take like 2 or 3 bills and say, hey, these are yours.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
You come over to my house and we'll see how that works.
No,
But we
so
really
we're going back to
appreciate
that
it.
scenario, right?
You know,
The
we
woman
could talk
running-
about this a while, but we do need to bring James on here and his crew.
Yeah,
And we
before-
do appreciate you coming on. Tell
Yes.
people how you can get in touch with you.
Yeah, actually, I have a freebie that I wanted to offer everyone. If you're in a relationship and you're like, is this thing gonna last? You can go on my website at upcompany.org and hit the free tab. There's a quiz for you.
Can you spell that?
Upcompany. That's UPCOMPANY.org. Hit that free tab and you can take the quiz. And don't worry if you see some red flags come up from that quiz. I give you advice on what you can do.
All right. Thank you so
Well,
much
we
for being here.
appreciate
this
you
morning.
so much for coming on the program here today. One other comment that I had, and I want her to give her information out one more time because we want to give people time to write it down, is I actually saw this on INSP, right? It was a minister on there, and he was like, if you want to get the king out of a man, speak to the king in him. And if you want to get the fool out of a man, speak to the fool.
That's a very good
You know
comment.
what? But every couple needs to eat some humble pie.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
And
is-
that's our response to our boss is going home, wind down and tone down.
Yeah.
So that's upcompany.org, right?
Yes.
Click on it, everybody, today. Find out where you are.
Thank you, Natasha, for coming
Thank
on the
you. Thank you.
program.
Thank you.